quick explainer of sending reverb to a monitor mix, this desk. Okay, first thing to point out is that typically, especially with a small format digital console, these aren't the kind of things that you can necessarily just turn up to a show, jump onto and expect things to be set up just right straight away. Things aren't always on top. Some people might not think that's as intuitive as in the analog world, where at least things are on top and visible straight away. What I'm saying is use technical rehearsal time, bag yourself some time on the specific digital mixer you're going to be using before you go to the show. Set up your show file so that when you get there you can either load it by USB or you've got your show file saved. I'm going to go in show control and I've already got a show file saved for this purpose, so monitors from side of stage, and it's going to bring me the routing up straight away, which is a good starting point. And scenes, Stephen Mons 2, load, yes. Okay, so the setup is this. I'm just going to use a single input. It's going to be input 1, local input 1, with some test signal coming in here, and we'll do the routing. So in using this monitor's console as a dedicated monitor's console stage side, the mix sends to the monitor wedges can be post fader sends. So we will need, these are my input faders, we will need those up. In this case we're just using one input. That'll need to be up to be able to send mix 1, bus 1 in this case, out to the monitor wedge. So to get this test signal out to the monitor wedge that I'm using in this example, I'm going to use bus 1 post fader. Okay, that's the dry signal. Let's say the lead vocalist's voice. The lead vocalist says, can you send me some reverb in my monitors? Not a problem. To send this reverb to the vocalist monitors on this particular show file that I've got set up, I'm going to use bus 5 or mix bus 5. Again, that's post fader. So that again, I'm selected up on this channel, my lead vocals mic channel. Change to bus 5. That's nothing being sent, and that's some signal being sent. Now, every mix bus needs a master. Mix bus masters on this console over here, by default, the console loads on groups and DCAs. If you do buses 1 through 8, those are your mix bus masters. Mix bus master 5, that's a send to it, and that's mix bus 5 master. That'll need to be up and that'll need to be unmuted. Now, I'm sending mix bus 5 into an effect unit. There are 8 effects processors built into this desk. Let's have a look at those. So I'm going to click effects. Those are the 8 effects engines. The one that we're bothered about, the one that I will set up for vocal reverb in the vocalist's monitors, will be effect 1. It's set to a rich plate, and the input is bus 5. Choose the inputs by using this encoder, scrolling through and clicking to connect. So bus 5 is going through its master, mix bus 5 master, and into effect number 1, which is actually that effect there. If we want to adjust any of the parameters, we can see signal. Cool. So now that mix bus 5 is being sent from this input into effect number 1, which is a reverb, because mix bus 5 is routed into that effect. That's like in the analog world getting a send cable, taking it out of an auxiliary output into a piece of output, into an outboard reverb unit, SPX, whatever. So we're sending signal into the reverb unit, but we've got to get it back onto the console. Not particularly intuitively, the effects returns are default routed to this layer, third layer down. It's called aux in USB. Here, effect 1, left and right returns. It's a mono in, stereo out. Single in, left right out situation. Effects return from effects number 1, left and right. There they are. They're coming back in. Effects returns are effectively just another input channel with a fancy name. And once again, they can be found there. Aux in USB. Can you see that? So we've got that effects return, well, we're sending signal out to the effects unit, bringing it back in here. Final job is to send that out to the monitor wedge. How do we do that? Well, as I said before, the monitor wedge is on mix bus 1. Because that's what it is in this particular show file. That's what we've set up here. So that's going to be wet signal, reverb of the vocalist's voice. We need to send that back out to them. So mix bus 1, and then select that channel and send some, basically. So we are sending from the effects return input, the wet reverb signal is being sent out of mix bus 1, which will mean that that signal is going to get into their monitor wedge, and we can do a blend of how much wet signal, how much reverb they want by using that encoder. One final thing, I don't know how well you can see this on the video because I'm not a lighting engineer. I can't seem to get my lighting quite right to be able to set it up so you can see what's written on these labels. But these labels are, well, you just enter whatever name you want, and also you can choose whatever colour you want for the labels. And it's just nice in this show file that I set up to do this job, monitors from side of stage on a dedicated console, that I chose some colours to help identify different things. This bluey colour is my mix bus sends going to each monitor wedge, and the title here, the label that I've entered, you may not be able to see this, it says stage right mon, and then this green is a colour I chose, and I put it in a different colour because I'm using that bus, mix bus 5, as a reverb send bus. That's what was input in, what is input into this effects rack. Oh, and finally, the default colour for effects returns on this console is purple. Again, kind of quite helpful to have those different colours to identify the purposes of different faders.